Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Ali Iftikhar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I only talk about Canadian immigration, and these days, Canadian immigration and Canadian studies, these two things are synonymous. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Canadian studies, and I always tell you guys that I don't have enough knowledge about Canadian studies. So this is why I have an expert YouTuber, Mr. Shajji, who is from Pakistan and currently studying in Vancouver, and he will be sharing his side of story. And we have already made a video previously, and in that video we talked about the basic steps for studying in Canada. How do you look for a course? How do you look for universities? And in this video, I'm going to ask questions from Mr. Shajji that would he be kind enough to share the right SOP practices. Like SOP is something that is very crucial for when you're applying for study permits, and how to prove ties with your home country, because this is the hypocrisy of Canadian studies, I would call it. Maybe Mr. Shajji would not agree with me, but I would call it a hypocrisy of Canadian studies, because when you're applying for Canadian studies, you have to prove that after completing those studies, you will come back to Pakistan, or you will come back to your home country, wherever you are from. But in its true essence, everybody is applying for Canadian studies just to get a PR after completing their studies. But in your study visa application, you have to prove that you will come back to your home country and you have proper ties with your home country. So this is the hypocrisy that I was talking about. So I would ask Mr. Shajji, and I will welcome him in this video as well, and he is very kind to answer these questions. So Mr. Shajji, first question to you is that what is the best practice of opening a GIC account, and can you please elaborate a little bit that what is a GIC account?
Thank you so much, Ali Bhai, for taking another video with me. Thank you so much for your kind words as well. For the Guaranteed Investment Certificate account, the full form of GIC is Guaranteed Investment Certificate account. Majority of the people are aware that when applying to Germany, you need a block account. That is a term, it's called block account, where you invest some funds into another country bank and it gets blocked for the purpose, the initial purpose, right? What happens in Canada, they recently introduced this policy. And what is this policy? That is actually a student direct stream. Now, what is student direct stream? Student direct stream is the one which have actually 3 requirements in that. And the first requirement is that you have to pay a full 1-year tuition fees in the institute you are applying to for your international education. The second thing is the IELTS, and that is almost 6.5 overall requirement you need to make, with 6 in each module. And the third essential requirement is Guaranteed Investment Certificate. Now, what is Guaranteed Investment Certificate and how you can apply for that? It is a really simple process. You need to select a Canadian bank. You need to search on Google for that bank. You got a Canadian bank, I would say a name of few: Scotia Bank, Canadian Imperial Bank, CIBC. All right. These are 2 particular popular banks in Canada which accepts Guaranteed Investment Certificate. How Guaranteed Investment Certificate works? By going on online, you go to the website, Scotia Bank website or a CIBC Bank website. You go there. On the website, there is an option which says that do you want to select for a GIC? They know it that you are applying for an international student visa. When you apply, there is a form you have to fill. Once you have filled the form, your details are finalized. Then you get a form, a receipt for yourself, which says that you are accepting to deposit 10,000 Canadian dollars. Now, the purpose of GIC is actually to ensure that for the 1 year, you have enough living expenses to support yourself in Canada. If, for instance, you're not employed in Canada, because as an international student, you're only allowed to work 20 hours per week. So you don't have enough funds for that. So with your 1-year tuition fees, you also pay a 10,000 Canadian dollars Guaranteed Investment Certificate, GIC, along when you're filing your visa.
Glad you clarified all of that, because honestly, I was confused. Like GIC, how to open that while being in your home country. I was confused about it. Thank you very much for answering that. The next question is related to SOP, And recently, there have been rumors that Canadian immigration authorities, they are using AI, artificial intelligence, to figure out that whether the SOP was written by a person, by an applicant, or by their consultant, because these consultants, they use a particular template and they would just change the name of those students, and they would keep rest of the details same, and they would use the same SOP for all the files that they have. So AI is in process for figuring out these culprits, like these consultants. They are illegal consultants, because if they were legal, if they were licensed consultants, they would have represented you in your account, in your application. But if you look at your profile, you would always see that they did not represent you. So that shows that they were illegal consultants. So that alone can jeopardize your study permit application. So that is why it is very crucial that one needs to write his or her SOP himself, and that SOP needs to be compelling so that you can prove everything that you were talking about. So, Mr. Shajji, can you please shed some light on SOP and why it is important, and what are the important factors to include in an SOP?
Look, the statement of purpose is actually your story that needs to be known by a IRCC official on why he wants to grant you a study visa. Actually, he wants to know your story. This is actually a storytelling chance for you to persuade him, means that influence him to ensure that you are genuine student. And what you documented in a file for a student visa is actually your explanation in statement of purpose. Let's take an example, 2 3 points. First point is that if you are saying that I have completed my high school and now I want to apply for a bachelor's in Canada, then you need to prove in your statement of purpose with your words or a story that you scored really good in high school, and you think that if you can go to Canada, this will enhance or have a future prospect in your life. Then that is the point you need to include in a statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is actually the purpose why you want to come in Canada and study, right? That is the purpose. Other than that, statement of purpose does not include related to educational studies. It also relates to the financial assets, bank statement number, and everything you have shown in your file, in your student file. For instance, you have shown bank statement and you have shown property in your student application. Then you also need to discuss these two things in your statement of purpose. If you are not connecting your file documents with statement of purpose, there might be a chance that he would understand that you are not a genuine student. And why he says that your ties are not strong to your home country, the reason is that these financial assets, your educational condition is not great in your own country. Then why you are coming to Canada? Like how the hell you think that if you are not successful in your home country, how you can be successful in Canada? Because you need to prove that you are a genuine student. And if, because in Canada the employment rate is almost 90%. Almost any 100 graduates secure a job, in 90 students secure a job. But when you are coming to Canada, you need to ensure that your ties are strong. You can show that by the financial assets you own. You can show that by your genuineness of education, that you have scored high marks in your high school. You have secured 3 out of 4 CGPA in your graduation. Now you think that you want to do aeronautical engineering, and you think that Pakistan does not have that universities, or and you think you want to immigrate to Canada because like there are no universities in your home country who have like who taught you aeronautical engineering. So you want to think that Canada is the place to go. So you apply for Canada visa because aeronautical engineering is not in your home country. So that is the reason you need to show in your statement of purpose. It is more of a storytelling chance for you.
Oh, thank you very much. And that means that it is a storytelling chance, and we should make our story great, because if we don't define ourselves, if we don't define our intention, and I would add to that that when we are writing SOP, we need to ensure the case officer that I have no intention of living illegally without any status. We need to talk in that tone that the case officer would realize that, okay, this guy is not going to do anything illegal. He's not going to extend his stay after studies illegally. And that can only be shown through the confident tone of writing that you use while telling your story. And as Shajula already mentioned, that the financial instruments that you will have, maybe some property on in your name, or heavy bank statements. And it is good to have a bank statement. I mean, for STS, it is not mandatory, I believe. Shajula will correct me. Having a GIC account for STS is mandatory, but having a bank statement is not mandatory. But if you include your bank statement and it is good enough, apart from the GIC, that will also increase your chances for getting a study permit, because they would see that you're not just a random person desperate to move to Canada and desperate to live there illegally. So, Mr. Shajula, what do you say about having a bank statement in excess of GIC? Would you please shed some light?
Look, I tell my example. Actually, the main purpose, which initially was that bank statement shows up previously before the SDS, right? Before the student direct stream in Canada, like there are almost 12 to 15 countries that are under student direct stream. Now, for student direct stream, I told you that there are 3 requirements: first year tuition fees, 6.5 in IELTS overall, and guaranteed investment certificate. But this does not include bank statement, because you already paid out GIC, that is your living expenses. You already paid out your first year tuition fees. Now the bank statement does not become a mandatory document for your student visa file. Now, previously what it used to be is that the bank statement shows up your living expenses actually. But now this is not a requirement. This is your choice. If you have extra funds, you can show your bank statement in SDS category as well, but it's not mandatory. For instance, if you don't put a bank statement, they won't reject your visa based on that. So I would personally believe that do show your bank statement if you have that, and show a minimum amount, like any amount you have, and show like this is the ticket fare I have, this is the initial accommodation expense I have, like to support myself. That's it. If you have attached that bank statement in your file, for instance, it is not required, but you have attached that document, then discuss this in your SOP as well, that I have these funds for a ticket, for an air ticket. Like explain him like what is this document for in your statement of purpose. So that is the main part.
And Shajula, I see every other day in the study Facebook groups that people ask a senior to share their SOP, that what was your SOP, and people want to copy that. I mean, can we like, is there any concept of plagiarism or copy paste for SOP? Does it need to be genuine? Can you please shed some light on this one?
First of all, I would like to use the word plagiarism. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism means there are 2 aspects of plagiarism. First, it means that you took a content from a Google, just copy, Control C and Control V in your Word document. That is a plagiarism in a Canada. In Canada, you can't take anyone's content without their permission. This is a bad thing. This is also done by students who are in Canada. In universities, they copy the content as they do in their home country. In home country, it works, but in Canada, it does not work. You get failed, you get everything. Let's come to SOP again. In SOP, people usually takes other people's statement of purpose. Let me tell you how IRCC works. If a student who has even been rejected previously for Canada, if you used his statement of purpose, the visa officer will know that you have used his statement of purpose. Because if you use 2 to 3 words in a line together, the system of visa or the Canadian IRCC will pick up those SOPs that have been entered into the system 20 to 25 years back. So that is the reason that you don't need to copy and paste. Please write your own statement of purpose. If you can't write your statement of purpose, then how you can be successful in Canada being an international student? You won't be able to, right? So you need to ensure that please write yourself. Don't take a sample even from anyone, from agents, from like previously who have been approved. Don't take a sample of it even. Just look at how they have done it and then delete that and start a new Word document.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shajji Bhai. You have been amazing, and this has been an enlightening session, I would say. So I would thank you again for being on my channel and for honoring me with your presence. And I would like to tell everybody else that this was a 2-video series, Mr. Shajji, about study permits, and I would like to invite him in future as well, and we'll talk about his job because he recently got a job from a very good company in Canada after completing his studies. So I would like to know about his journey, and maybe in a future scenario we can arrange another meeting like this. So Mr. Shajila, if you have any final words, you're welcome to say that, and I would leave the floor to you.
First of all, thank you so much, Ali Bhai, for all these videos we have together. Hopefully, your followers and subscribers would have an idea like how to go on it. I would say that what I have learned here, just the one point I would say, I usually used to copy people things. Where I was in my home country, I was from Pakistan. People used to copy there. People used to tell a lie there. What I have learned in 1 year in Canada from being an international student, from a work permit, now getting the spousal thing, now getting go for a PR in a 1 year. What I've learned is never tell a lie. This is what our every religion teaches us, that never tell a lie. If you start telling a lie, you are lying yourself and you won't be succeeding in your life. Either you're in Canada, either everywhere you are. And the other thing what I did was I tried to ensure that I don't tell a lie. And that started from filing a student visa, because I was not telling a single lie there. That secured me a visa, then a success journey, I would say, in Canada. Like, this is what not I expected. I expected like below than that, because I thought like I won't be able to succeed secure a job in Canada after like before graduating. So these are some of the things I was starting telling myself, I don't want to tell a lie to anyone. Either it is IRCC, either there are my parents or anyone, either there is my life partner or anyone. I won't start telling a lie. What I am, or anyone who is, just tell the truth and start implementing that. I have found like success in that.
Oh, thank you very much. Great advice. Honesty is indeed the best policy, and Islam tells us honesty is the best policy. And I'm sure that other religions also advocate honesty, and this is the way to go about in life. So, thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.